Strap on in, this episode is an absolute monster of a ride with a ton more clues about what's going on and some heart-pounding action. If you're new to my From videos, this is not a recap, rather a deep dive into all the mysteries, clues, and theories the show has to offer. I've left timestamps below so you can see all the topics I'll be covering. Now come with me, the sun's about to set. Episode 6 once again introduces us to the Ballerina Music Box, something we saw briefly in Episode 2. Martin told Boyd that he must, quote, get out before the music stops, but we never find out what exactly happens should the music stop. This time, however, the music box is accompanied by a ballerina, which directly ties to the name of the episode, pas de deux, a French term describing a dance between two people. It can also mean cooperation between two people, which is what is needed when it comes to transferring blood. Boyd is the only one who can see the music box and ballerina, suggesting the worm infection that's taken over his blood is giving him this ability. Remember, in one of his visions, the ballerina even pukes up worms. These worms also have given him visions of Father Katri. It'll be interesting then to see if these visions will cease now that he seems to be cured of these worms. I'm curious if the music box and ballerina serve a different purpose, almost as if trying to tell Boyd something. Boyd sees the music box outside the cellar, the same one where Victor hid the night of the town's massacre, and the third time he sees the ballerina this episode, she grabs him and makes this gesture to her arm, almost as if she's wanting him to recognize the importance of his blood. Now, speaking of these worms, we get a few more clues as to what exactly these things are. The worms seem to be a physical manifestation of a blood infection that can be passed from person to person. Martin gives it to Boyd and Boyd to Smiley, and it appears that once you pass it on to someone else, you are cured. Boyd theorizes that the worms eat away at you, using its host as a food source, yet at the same time it keeps the host alive. That's why Martin wanted Boyd to kill him. He had been fed on for years. The worms also seem to have an adverse effect on the monsters. In episode 2, the monsters don't seem to notice Boyd when he's out in the forest, although it's not proven if that was because of his blood. However, in this episode, Boyd's blood is transferred into Smiley, causing him to shrivel and turn into one of those pruned monsters Tabitha and Victor saw in the caves. And before we get more into Smiley, if you like these types of videos and want to see more, consider liking and subscribing. It really helps the channel out. Perhaps the biggest WTF moment is what happens to Smiley after reacting to Boyd's blood. I personally don't think he's gone. He's the most notable monster of the bunch, so if he doesn't shrivel up and die when daylight comes, what could happen? I think it would be really cool come sunrise if he turned back to normal, like the person he was before becoming this monster. This could act as a really cool plot device to answer some questions about the town's past and could open up new avenues for figuring out just how the hell to get out of here. We've also never seen what happens to one of these monsters should they not get back to their cave in time. That's another possibility. The other mini cliffhanger we get this episode is that Fatima could be pregnant with Ellis's child. To my knowledge, there has never been a baby born in the town, so I'm super curious whether or not this will provide any new clues. In terms of plot, I think having her pregnant would raise the stakes and also provide cool new things for the show to explore. Although given very little screen time this episode, Jim expands on his theory that this place is all some kind of experiment meant to test them, stating that the food shortage is a way to increase their stress levels. We do know that someone is definitely watching them, as evidenced by the radio call at the end of season 1. Before Boyd reaches the cellar where he sees the music box, he makes an odd remark that the leaves are changing colors, something that he hasn't seen here before. Victor also remarked that the trees were changing before he showed Jade the abandoned car lot last episode. This suggests that prior to the last 2 episodes, the town had been stuck in summer, almost frozen in time. Now, these comments on the leaves could indicate something bad is about to happen, or that the writers had to come up with a way to explain the changing seasons due to the production's shooting schedule. Elgin really stepped up this episode and put his life on the line to save Ellis. He didn't have to do this, but did anyway. We learn this episode that he can't stand the sight of blood, which is why he leaves when Christy performs her surgery. He's also the only person to show compassion to Sarah. I wonder if his backstory involves some sort of bloody event in which Elgin himself would be seeking forgiveness, hence why he empathizes with Sarah and walks away from the blood. He did mention he was going to see his grandmother, so I wonder how she plays into this or if that's all just a lie. I absolutely love the writing in this scene between Ethan and Donna. Last episode, Ethan told Sarah that he doesn't fear her, stating that when you're on a quest, you take away a scary thing's power by facing it. But Ethan's secret is that he's still scared, with Donna telling him fear is special because without it, we wouldn't know how to be brave. We also get a bit more backstory behind Marielle. Last episode, we saw her stealing morphine to feed her drug addiction. It looks as though Christy knew that Marielle was once a user, but when they were together, she was clean. It's only when Christy went missing that Marielle relapsed and was on that bus to get back to rehab. Now I turn it over to you. I want to hear all your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember,
my blood is your blood now, motherfucker.